Retomamos después de la pausa y tras unas cuantas presentaciones realmente interesantes. La verdad es que cuento con ventaja porque yo ya he podido ver y preparar en detalle las presentaciones del panel que ahora presentamos y les puedo asegurar que el interés no va a decaer y que son francamente interesantes todas. Mi nombre es Pilar Santamaría, represento a Score Global Life en España, soy Market Manager para España y Portugal y tengo el placer y además agradecimiento a Carlos y a Luis por darme la oportunidad de participar simplemente introduciendo algunos de los speakers que van a tomar ahora la palabra. Me siento francamente honrada de estar rodeado con ellos y ante una audiencia del nivel de la que tienen ustedes. Entonces voy a empezar presentando a François Gasc, que también reconozco que poca presentación precisa, pero sí que me gustaría recordar algunos hitos importantes de su currículum. Él estudió Ciencias Políticas, es máster en CHA y segundo grado en el MBA de Stanford. Él lleva trabajando en Accenture desde 1985 para España, para Europa, África y Latinoamérica y más de 20 años en la industria aseguradora. Desde Accenture él lidera con su equipo y está realizando varios proyectos en áreas tan importantes y tan relevantes como puede ser Client Centricity, digitalización, creación de valor, CRM, management de la multicanalidad, con lo cual, como ven ustedes, pues son aspectos plenamente relevantes que no han dejado de salir esta mañana y estoy segura de que van a seguir ahora mismo siendo objeto de todo nuestro interés. Entonces, muchísimas gracias por estar aquí. Jean-François, y cuando quieras empezamos.
So, buenos dias. This is the maximum of my speaking Spanish, so sorry. I have to make this presentation in English. I hope the translation will help you follow it. So I have the subject of better understanding clients and development of next generation offerings, very much in the same space, I would say, as what Steve presented, maybe a slightly different tilt, maybe also believe that not only is the new customer here, but also some of the new offerings and features are already there, and I will try to present that to you. So basically two parts, the new insurance customer, and then looking at next generation offerings. So let me start with a global view. This is taken out of our most recent consumer survey, so it's about 24,000 people, 8,000 of which had life insurance, and you see the features. I mean, it's quite impressive. These guys are connected, they look for information digitally, they're very social. They're also, and I would like to stress this at this point, they're switchers. What we mean by switchers is people, even in life insurance, who declare they would be, or they're about to change life insurance or at least subscribe or underwrite with another insurer. So this is a global trend. We see not only are people becoming digital, but they're also very much looking for the best deals, for the best information, and it's ever more difficult to keep them happy and to keep them as long-standing consumers, even in life insurance. So this is, I think, very important. And the other one I would stress is that they're experimental, instant reward, instant gratification, instant feedback is something they're craving for. And we have a lot of additional data points which point in exactly the same direction. So if we move and go in a little bit deeper on what consumers are really expecting, I think one of the top really expectations from insurers is personalization. They crave for personalization. You see on this page basically two data points which I think do confirm this, and we've seen that in various surveys. It's not only this one. This was a global consumer survey done in end of 2013. How important is it that your insurance provider provide personalized experience? you say 80% of clients, this is global average, not much difference between geographies, including Spain. Very important, about 30%, important, about 50%. This is big. And the other very interesting information in relation to that is when we ask clients, would you be willing to share more information with your insurance company to get something personal, something really meaningful to me? They say yes. Yes, without any barriers for 30% of clients. And yeah, I would need to understand what information I would need to control. I would also need to understand what's the value for me. But that's another outstanding 80%. So very small variations also on this point between countries, between, let's say, 78 and 85. Asian being much more willing to share information, maybe continental Europeans a little less, but still very, very high. And when you look at this and you look at what insurers are doing at this point in time, they have tons of data they don't use, not even asking for more data, and they don't personalize. So I think this is a major gap between what consumers expect and what consumers get. And those who will be very fast or faster than the others to bring that to life, and we'll see cases about this, will, I think, make definitely a big, big difference in the market. So really take out of this slide, consumer crave for personalization. What are you doing to make your customer's experience personalized? The other thing, and it's no different, actually it's almost the same curve as what Steve showed, but this is coming from a different input, just confirming, looking at what channels clients would like to use interacting with their insurance company. And the top line you see there is digital channels. So of course there are differences between steps of the value chain, differences between P&C and life. This is actually a combination of both. Some of the steps only are meaningful for life and some others are for P&C. But basically, you see this curve going up every year, I would say almost every month, across the world. It's actually much higher in Asia and LATAM. It's actually a bit lower in Europe, but moving up very fast. The other thing, which I think is very relevant, is that when you look at each other column, it adds a lot more than 100%. So clients would like to have the possibility of using a digital channel. They will, of course, would like to be able to call somebody. They might even want to meet somebody physically, and the mix of that depends by customer segment, depends by steps of the value chain. But the key takeout is that they want something that is, you name it, multi-channel, omni-channel, however you want. They want to have the control of the channels they use. They want to have the choice. And of course, there are some clients who want only physical, some only digital, but the vast majority, particularly I think in continental Europe and Spain, they want both worlds. They are hybrid customers. And I think it's another major gap between what insurers are providing, what clients are wanting, is providing a real multi-channel experience. If we have questions in other surveys, I don't want to have too many data points on what are you producing in terms of digital channel, for instance. It's basically no more than 20% on average. Rising fast, but still way, way behind what clients are expecting. So another big gap, I think, and this is not future, it's just now. And if we ask them, what would you like in 3 years, that would be even more multi-channel and even more digital. So the other dimensions that we like to look, this is taken out of a survey we did for a Nordic insurance company, looking at what they could provide to the 50 plus, 55 plus segment. And what's very interesting is what are their priorities? They're very much in the same space as what Steve mentioned. I want to be taken care of in case of becoming dependent. I want help. I want to be helped, and actually I would be willing to pay for that. And I think this is a major concern in most European geographies. Population are aging, as we know, and there is a real need to take care of people and provide them an end-to-end, if you want, a continuous life cycle of from preparing retirement to being retired to becoming dependent to, unfortunately, being very dependent. And there's a whole range of services that can be provided to this population. And I think this is, and we'll see evidence of that, this is a market where there is some money, not only on the life insurance side or the pension side, but also on all the services you can bring to the table to please your customers. And actually, this is what I would like to maybe, it seems that the order has changed a bit in this presentation, so and some of the slides have actually disappeared, but anyway, I wanted to also have two other points in the presentation regarding what consumers are expecting in terms of retirement. And before moving to this the last element, what we really want to have this in your mind is that everybody realizes, and we have evidence for that, and I'm sorry, somehow the slides disappeared, that the consumers understand they will have to take care of their retirement. And actually, they're very anxious of how to do it. And the second point I wanted to share with you, and this is coming out of our global retirement survey we did early 2013, is that they do realize that they will have to deal with it themselves. So it's, and probably the third point I would like to stress before moving to this is that not sure insurers are the prime, let's say, company they would look for help in this global space. They will look for wealth manager, they might look for the banks, they might look to pensions institution. Maybe insurance companies are not the first choice. So it's another very important dimension of customer expectation. It's not only they're digital, it's not only that they want multi-channel, they're really moving in a space, particularly in mature continental Europe countries, of looking for ways to solve their pension, their future pension situation. So coming to this particular side, I think what's very interesting and coming out of all our surveys, I try to summarize the new insurance customer expectation in things quite simple that maybe you can think of looking at what you're doing within your companies. The first thing is very simple. Clients want you to know them. So do you know me? Do you recognize me? This is something very simple, very natural, not necessarily something we do because very often we have a broker, an agent, somebody else interacting with the clients, and we're not so good into bringing all our customer data into something meaningful for our clients. And of course, if you know them, then you're much better positioned to predict what they will want, what's their expectation, what's their propensity to buy, and of course you can bring that to life. Other very important dimension is, of course, it's good to know them. It's even better to show them you know them. If you go to Amazon or to any other, bookstores or eBay, they will recognize you. Hey, you're Mr. Carlos Ibanez. You love storybooks and you're a grade 5 mangas. I'm not sure if this is the case for Carlos, but and they know you. They absolutely know you. They show you know them. I haven't seen many insurance companies actually showing that. Just differentiating what you present based on what you know about the client, what he's been doing, what he has done in the past, what he's doing on the more, let's say, global social media sphere. So some players are doing that. I will look into that, but very, very few are doing that. And the third step is delight them. Provide something that is meaningful, makes sense, glues together, continuous, a real nice multi-channel, I'm sorry, using multi-channel because that's one of my mantra with insurance company experience. Not only on website, not only at the agent site, not only on the mobile, not only on tablets, across all those devices, something that makes sense is personalized. And I think this is another space where an insurance company have a lot to invent. Other players are doing it. And this is, I think, very, very important. But even better, delightful experience, very good. It's even more delightful if the clients can do what he wants. Enable me, allow me to do things, to manage it the way I want. So, yeah, it's around self-service, but it's around, having some push information, allow me to act on what I should be knowing, what I should be aware of, and we'll see example of that. So that's, I think, when you move in that space of rewarding, and that's the next page, having a continuous exchange with clients. It completely changed the intensity of the relationship. And the fifth and last dimension, I would love you to be able to implement in your companies, really value your clients. So there are many ways you can value your clients. You can have, sort of a gold, silver, bronze, type of situation. Maybe you have points. Maybe you have reduction. Maybe you have global client packages. Maybe you have many things. Maybe services. Maybe access to a network partner. Really value, recognize your clients, and make a difference between the very, very good clients and the very, very shitty clients. And of course, this is not something we do well because we don't know them well and we're not so able to show them we know them. So sounds very simple, of course, in the concepts, much more difficult to implement. But if you think of it, other players in the world, other industries are doing that much, much, much better than insurance companies do on average. And if that gaps continue to increase, and it's at the moment increasing very fast, this will become a major issue for insurance companies because they'll lose the customer relationship. So moving now, how can you sort of regain the consumer, let's say, relationship to I think it's one of the way, I think the only way really, is to move beyond insurance. So I'll try to explain what I mean by moving beyond insurance. This is a slide I like to use in client discussions. Basically, you have, I oversimplify, of course, it's more a continuum, but you can have something which is, I do well what I've been doing. I mean, I have the capital, I will be very efficient in my processing, I will focus on my core skills, I will simplify, rationalize, become a low-cost, easy to work with partner, and I have the capital and the, let's say, regulatory and risk management skills to do so. I'm very good at what I do. Potential situation, actually, it's a real-life situation for many insurance companies. If they're partnering with a bank or partnering with other players, they're doing the risk management, the partner's doing the selling. Yeah, works for some time. Even viable and profitable for some positioning, and we see that in many other industries, the value chain being broken down between specialists. But in the long term, I'm not sure this is what the most insurance companies will look for. It's really moving to what I call beyond insurance, really regaining, enriching their relationship with their clients. And there are many ways to do that, probably looking at what sort of partners, what sort of services you can bring. Certainly try to find ways to increase the intensity of exchange, the frequency of exchange with the clients so that you know them better. And of course, try to differentiate and personalize the experience. So this is all theory. I think it's also interesting to look at what it means potentially in real life. Are there cases of this being done? And contrary to Steve, I think it's actually, we do have cases showing that this is absolutely possible. This is not something in 10 years, this is not something in 3 years, it's now. And one of the examples I like to take, because we've been working with them quite a bit, is a company called Discovery. This is a South African company which has, I really encourage you to look at their website just to understand. This is a fantastic example of moving into value sharing mechanism between the insurance company, its clients, and its partners. So basically, the mantra of Discovery is we help you get healthy. We help you be healthy. So they created a program which is called Vitality. And Vitality is a way to helping clients become healthy or become healthier. And they've been doing that for quite a while. And there are now evidence, very sound evidence, that actually this program works. And works to the point of not only pleasing the insurer, but also making people healthier, living longer. And if you're a life insurer, there's a flip side of having your clients live longer, but potentially you have clients for a longer period of time, and there are more things you can sell to them. So how does it work? Well, externally it's quite simple. You have tools and methods to know your health. What's your health status? You have guidance to improve your health, so various programs and activities you can do to improve your health. And if you do that, you have rewards. So you have bronze status, silver status, gold status, and that comes with a lot of goodies, including reduction through your network of partners, including closeness, including improved pricing. So many ways to do that. It's so powerful in terms of engagement, and I talk very often with my South African colleagues. Some of them get daily exchanges with Discovery Vitality. When you go to a shopping mall, you have the Vitality panel on the bar of food. So they're really part of their life, and it's so engaging that they're now selling the concept across the world. So they started out in the US. There's two companies, big players, Humana, which I think is the third largest health insurer, John Hancock, which is one of the largest life insurers, have licensed the concept. AIA, a large Hong Kong-based Asian company, has licensed the concept. And in Europe, Generali announced about 6 months ago they will roll out the Vitality concept across their core markets. That is, to start with Italy, Germany, and France, and probably very soon, I guess, or expect Spain. So successful, so engaging that actually it sells as a concept. And they're introducing a new model in insurance, which is licensing an insurance concept. I would love to spend a lot of time on Vitality because it's really great, but I can't go into too many details. But really, if you're the client, you have all the healthy features, and you can keep track. And of course, this is enabled by various devices. Hancock is using Fitbit. In Asia, there are more with Samsung health tracking. But basically, it's various ways to track the behavior. But it's based on a very, very very deep analytics capability. So understanding what's the status, the health status of a person, personalize the training and the get healthy approach, manage the points and status in line with what's being done, and rewarding. But this is based on really understanding what makes people healthier. And this is, so it's not only tracking, it's really based on deeply ingrained analytics capability. And this is why this can not be replicated so easily, because it took them almost 10 years to reach that point of understanding very well what it means to be healthy and what can influence healthiness for their clients. So, of course, the economic model is very interesting because you can share value with your clients. You provide clients to your partners, so they work with lots of various partners, and they're actually replicating the model in car insurance at the moment in South Africa. And it's also quite disruptive because it's very complex to replicate if you don't have the analytics know-how and the experience of building, rewarding, and managing a network of partners. So this is very much aligned to what I know your clients and show you them, you know me, and all that. They're doing that and been doing for quite a while. So this is one of my favorite, but there's another one. I think I've already talked about this one, this company in another stage, but really this is probably one of the most advanced company in terms of personalizing all aspects of client relationships. So this is USAA. This is the mutual of the US military. So they don't have a distribution network. And they sell almost anything you can sell to a US military guy in, let's say, in the financial service space. So P&C insurance, life insurance, banking, but also services related to various stages of the life of a military person, moving from one place to the other, having to relocate, having to find a home, having to buy a car or rent one, and all that. So very extreme customer centricity, so they have probably the largest usage of social media within their customer base in the world. Almost, I would say 80% of the clients engage with the USA on social media. Of course, using very, very sophisticated analytics on customer analytics as well as digital analytics. They're really advanced in terms of customer experience. They were the first earlier this year to introduce biometric authentication. I'm sorry, they're struggling with my English, in the US. So you can, with your thumb, with your face, various ways to authentify, and they're also implementing voice support. The easiest way to interact with somebody or a company, even through digital media, is voice. So they're investing a lot into Siri-like, so that's supported with a lot of artificial intelligence, to make the experience as personalized as possible and as easy to interact with. And also, of course, they're a life company, so they're following the life cycle of their clients across their military life and after their military life, and also for their families. And so they have very sophisticated help for their clients to help plan their financial, let's say, activities across their life cycle. So if you're a young military, if you're getting married, if you have a client, if you move to some other places, if you prepare to retirement, they have a continuity of, let's say, digital tools and, of course, of advisors helping their clients to prepare, organize themselves, and manage their finance in the best possible way. So there will be plenty of dimensions I would like to touch on, but if you think of personalizing, this is not something in 10 years. This is not something in 5 years. This is now. This is really life. You can look at our website. You won't see all the features, but just looking at it, you'll understand that this is a very different company from many others. Another one, and I'm moving to a slightly different space, but this is something I like, and I discover as I travel across Europe that this type of product exists in some countries but doesn't exist in other countries, while the need for that is very clear. So in France, for quite a while, there's been what we call dependency insurance. Basically, it's providing a financial coverage for the event of potentially becoming dependent to others. So this is something, unfortunately, might happen to all of us at some stage. And maybe we don't have the, let's say, the assets, the financial strength to be able to cope with the situation. We really need continuous help, very costly help. And there are solutions to do that. So, of course, you can think of this as not a viable financial proposition for a life insurance company. This will be very costly. We don't have the models, and so on and so forth. This is not true. We do have the models. And it's working profitably, actually, for players in France. I chose Predica because they're the leaders in that market. They have been working for quite a while to improve their proposition, which is now already nice. I think it will continue to improve it, to move into, let's say, digitally supported help to stay longer at home, which I think is the next, let's say, the holy grail in that space. But already having let's say, the offer, having the assistance adapted to it, having the funding and advice to adapt your home to when situations you're no longer able to move as well, have the warning systems to warn your loved ones, your families, your parents, your people taking care of you. And also, if you look at it from a life insurance perspective, death is a situation where you might lose the asset under management. So having the connection with the relatives, the children, who may not be your clients, is very good, because you have all the information at the right time and you start building connections with those guys. And I see this model being of interest for many players as they understand the logic. It's providing a service. This is a profitable service, but it's also a way to expand the relationship you have with your clients to all the relatives in something that is really emotionally intense. And so really deep relationship. Other example I would like, I'm taking different angles. This is probably aware of Cosmos Direct. So Cosmos Direct is the leading direct life insurer I know of. Very efficient, very well run subsidiary of Generali in Germany. So it's called Cosmos Direct, but it's a fully owned subsidiary of Generali, and they only work they don't work with a distribution network. It's digital plus call center, and that's the only option they provide. Of course, this requires different products, simpler products, easy to understand, easy to present, very well packaged, actually of high value. And they introduced a while ago, I think about a year ago, a Rente Plus. Rente Plus is basically you construct your pension the way you want. You have modules, you can simulate, you can play with it, you can terminate it, you can continue it, you can it's a very flexible pension scheme. One of the most highly rated products in Germany, actually selling very well. And this is not rocket science. This is something that can be done now. Really, I mean, there's a need for that. There's a real need for that. People don't know how to deal with it. Many of their advisors are not good at it, and many of the products are not so good. And so very interesting innovation, I would say, in that space. And I think time is running out, but one of also my favorites is something very different. This is in Japan. So Tokyo Marine has been partnering with Docomo for many years in various spaces. So Docomo has about 60 million clients, mostly young people, very, very engaged in social media. And so there are many dimensions of the partnership. I chose one, but there are many others. So many of these people, younger ones particularly, they use cars, they use things, but they don't own them. And so they've launched a very successful small-ticket insurance model partnering with Docomo. Tokyo Marine is about, I think, 20 million clients, but far less than Docomo. And so it's a nice partnership. And they said, we want to move beyond that. We want to really be part of the life of our clients. And they chose to build on the Docomo has also created a Docomo Healthcare, which is a partnership with another company, really building on the device on the mobile to track the health status of their clients. And they show something very specific, which is helping women to manage their health. This How My Body Feels, so that's the name of the product in Japanese, well, in English, translated, of course, in English. Very interesting, because it's really same approach, but I would say as Vitality, but more focused on how you help people manage their health status, provide them a real status, and of course provide them a lot of suggestions, including insurance suggestions, to help them on the way, and also providing real social value. And this is fully digital, as you might imagine. This is fully personalized, because this is your health status, not somebody else. Very, very intimate, because it's on your mobile, and continuous, because it's continuous tracking. So, and this is done by an insurance company with a partner. So I think, I'm probably running out of time, but all these examples show that, I mean, the future is just now. I mean, it's absolutely possible. It's not new technology, it's existing technology. It just takes let's say, the stamina, the effort to really look at what can be done and empower some of your teams, and probably tweak quite a bit your organization and priorities to move in that space. And you remember, not moving in that space for insurers is increasing the gap between your customers' expectation and what you provide. And of course, you might survive for some time, but having the gap increasing forever and ever is not an option long-term, even for long-term life insurers, I would say. And so with that, maybe we'll have questions, but it was a pleasure to have this discussion with you.
Well, thank you, Jean-François. By the way, you're spot on. I love reading. So you have shown me, you know me, so that's the point.